Are you thinking about making a move to LA in 2025? Well, here's the deal. In this video, we're going to go over the good, the bad, and the surprising about living here in the City of Angels. From rubbing elbows with stars with some of our great culture here in LA, and even the cost of living in crazy traffic, what is it really like living here in LA? Well, make sure to watch this video because the answers might surprise you. Let's jump into it. The first thing we have to talk about is our diverse cultures. We have so many different areas and different little cultural pockets here in LA, from Little Tokyo to K-Town, Boyle Heights, and then all the way even down to Torrance, San Pedro, and Redondo. There's just so many different cultures and so many different vibes that it really is an absolute melting pot. You can see everything here in LA, and that is something that you might not be able to get in some other cities. So living here in LA with all of our diversity, you can find something that fits your style, fits your aesthetic, and is what you're looking for. Well, if you're looking for city life, we have downtown LA you can live in. We have Boyle Heights. We have Hollywood, East Hollywood, all downtown adjacent, maybe about a 5-10 minute drive from downtown, depending on the traffic, of course. But you have anything you want. If you want to live in the mountains, we have mountains. If you want to live next to the beach, we have beaches, all here in LA. And that is something that not a lot of other cities can boast. I'm sure you guys know that LA is the entertainment industry hub. We have everything from movies to commercials and everything in between. Your favorite Instagram or TikToker probably lives here in LA. So if that's the industry you're thinking about getting into, or you already are in the industry, then you know that LA is a central hub for that stuff. Living here in LA, you will have opportunities to go see movie premieres. You'll go see red carpet events. You can have the opportunity to see some of our amazing festivals we have here in LA. You may even have an opportunity of bumping into some famous actor or something on the street, or just getting a cup of coffee. Locally nearby, I know Vince Vaughn lives around where I live, so it's pretty exciting to go try and spot him. But those are some things that we can expect living here in LA that you might not get in another city. Another thing you can expect by living here in LA, unfortunately, is going to be the high cost of living. Like any other metropolitan city and any city right now that is attracting a lot of people, we have crazy high cost of living. And as a realtor, I am very well versed in this cost of living. If you want to buy a single family home in Los Angeles County, you can expect to pay around $975 depending on your area. And the median cost for a condo here in Los Angeles is $645. So we're not the most affordable city to move to if you are moving from like a Texas or a Las Vegas, for example. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about moving here, that buying a house or buying a condo might be a little bit tougher than some of the other cities around. Now, the median price for rent is right around $2,800. If you're looking for a studio, you can expect to be paying slightly above $2,000. For a one bedroom, anywhere from $2,200 to $2,500, depending on all of the amenities. Even renting isn't very affordable. Now, the price of milk, and I'm not talking about oat milk or any of that other kind of milk, you can go for anywhere from $4.60 almost up to $5. And that can be more expensive than some other places. Now, another thing you can expect from living here in Los Angeles is traffic. Traffic and commuting can be kind of a pain here in LA. We have a lot of people. A majority of people commute more than 15 minutes per day to their job. That causes a lot of congestion on our freeways and on our streets. So learning how to navigate that congestion and those peak rush hour times is very, very important if you're going to live here in LA. So you're probably wondering, well, then why would I want to move to LA? Why are people moving to LA then? Well, that is because of some of our industry here. As you know, LA is the hub for the media industry, whether that is film, commercials, news, anything like that. We have it all here in LA. That's our hub. That's why a lot of people come out here. If you think about people trying to make it big or becoming a star, what do they talk about? They talk about coming to Hollywood. Hollywood's in LA, so they got to come here.
You heard him? I'm a star.
Norma, you're a woman of 50. Now grow up.
The film and media industry is probably one of our bigger industries just here in LA. I mean, you're talking not just the actors, but everyone behind the scenes, making sure that the film is actually made or the commercial is actually made. There are tons and tons of people behind the scenes, behind the actors, making sure that that movie or commercial gets to you so you can be able to watch it. And they are all needing places to live. And that's just one thing that kind of drives up some of the prices around here for rents and houses, is the demand. We have a lot of demand here in LA to live. But that is just one of our major industries. We also have the tech industry. We have a crazy amount of tech startups that come here and are formulated here in LA, down at Silicon Beach or Venice Beach, in those areas. A very strong tech industry has really built themselves down there in the last 10 to 15 years. And now we're starting to see this build up, and that's creating a lot more jobs for people. So that is another really strong industry we have here in Los Angeles. And then of course we have our tourism. Here in LA, we have places like Disney World, Universal Studios, Knott's Berry Farm, all kind of in this 30-40 mile range. And those places employ a lot of people, so that's a really, really huge industry out here. And of course, every single one of those entertainment amusement parks have at least 5 to 6 hotels in a 5-mile radius, so those employ a lot of people. We have a huge tourism industry here as well. Think about LAX, our major airport. Think about the Long Beach airport. We have multiple airports of different sizes, so that there's a lot of opportunity for tourism to come in, get into LA, spend some of their money. All of those places have hundreds, if not thousands of employees, so that's a huge industry and a really good driving force for our economy. Now, another really big industry is our healthcare industry. We have one of the most robust healthcare systems in the nation here in LA. There is a hospital for every little town, and not even just hospitals. We have a lot of research centers here. We have some of the top medical schools. We have places like UCLA Medical providing some of the best healthcare to Angelinos. We also have some very, very big research organizations here doing research on medicine and diseases, so that's a huge industry for here and that helps a lot of people. Thinking of Los Angeles, you probably think of beautiful hills and maybe some sandy beaches down by Santa Monica, but what is it actually like to live here with the weather? The weather is absolutely beautiful. We very rarely get below like 56 degrees. We usually hover right around 60 to 70 degrees even through the winter, so it's very, very comfortable. The hottest I've seen it here in LA has been 100 degrees maybe, and downtown LA gets a little bit hotter than some of the areas outside of downtown. Now, 80% of the time you're gonna see clear, sunny skies. In the past couple of years, we've seen a little bit more rain. In 2023, we saw about 14 inches of rain, which is right around average for Southern California and Los Angeles. But 2024, we've seen 24 some odd inches of rain. So we've actually seen a big increase in rain recently. I've actually had to buy some waterproof jackets, but overall, it's very, very temperate, very, very agreeable. If you live near the coast, you might see a little bit more rain and more cloud coverage. That's called the marine layer. That burns off usually right at around 11:30, 12, and then the wind picks up and everything comes up. But usually the weather is very, very agreeable here in Los Angeles and Southern California as a whole. The last thing I'll say about the weather is that there are pockets of microclimates. So whether you live, like I just said, near the beach, you have a different weather than you would in the hills of Hollywood or downtown LA. Downtown LA usually skews a little bit hotter than some places. Obviously the beach is a lot cooler. I've lived near the beach a lot of my life. It's always at least 8 degrees cooler than anywhere else in LA. But with that, we also get the onshore winds that usually come, or sometimes we'll have something called the Santa Ana winds, which is a wind that blows in from the Santa Ana mountain range, comes over Los Angeles, over to the beach, causing offshore winds, which is really, really good for surfing. Those usually bring drier, warmer air coming across, and it kind of warms up everywhere in LA. So keep an eye out for that, but definitely the microclimates. There's some places in Los Angeles that actually get snow. The LA area is really one of the only places where you can surf and then drive up to the mountains and snowboard in the same day if you really wanted to. I've done it once in my life just so I could say that I have done it, and it is something that we as Angelinos are really, really lucky and blessed to be able to do. We have so many different microclimates. We literally have every type of weather that you may like here in LA, and that's something that not a lot of other cities can boast about. Whether you're talking about Chicago, New York, or even Las Vegas, they all kind of have their own weather climates. We have everything. So what are some things you can do here in LA? There are so many activities to do here in LA. If you are a foodie like myself, you can live 3 lifetimes and not even scratch the surface of all the restaurants we have out here. Whether you like Mexican food, Chinese food, Indian food, Ethiopian food, we have it all. We have 24 Michelin star rated restaurants just here in LA. So if you like fine dining or an elevated dining experience, we have it here in LA. Now, if you are a hiker or you enjoy being in the outdoors, we have so many different hikes here in LA, whether you want to go check out the Hollywood sign or you want to walk on the coast and the beach. If you want maybe more of a deserty kind of hike, we literally have it all here in LA if you are a hiker. If you are about experiencing the culture, almost every single trend has started here in LA. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but think about Chicano culture, think about rap culture. Even our style influences we have can be felt across the country. If you want to be able to find amazing vintage clothing, you don't have to go too far. There is a vintage shop almost on every corner in LA. You can go down to one of our amazing flea markets and kind of feel the culture of where all these farmers are bringing these fresh produce from farms just outside of LA in the state of California. We have so much agriculture in the state of California that it all kind of filters down through us. Then it goes down to San Pedro or Long Beach to get shipped out across the world, or it goes across one of our vast freeway systems to get delivered. We have so much here that it can really be felt in the streets of LA. We have so much culture and so much things to do here in LA that makes us kind of who we are, that whatever you wanted to do, I guarantee you can find it here in LA. Now, if you are like me and you're a beach person, we have about 75 miles of coastline. I mean, there's not enough people in the world to make those beaches crowded. You're eventually going to find somewhere that you enjoy. If you're a surfer, we have some of the most famous surf spots like Malibu or maybe an El Porto. Or if you're a beach volleyball player, we have Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach that are host to some great tournaments here. If you enjoy, maybe going out spearfishing or scuba diving or just free diving, we have so many different species of wildlife here in LA. We have our state fish, which is the Garibaldi, that loves to call the rocky shores its home. You can't miss the thing. It's bright orange. It looks like a highlighter fish. We have so many different species of fish in LA, whether you want to go catch them and eat them or you want to just look at them in all their beauty in nature. We have beautiful kelp forest that is a whole ecosystem underneath the water. We have beautiful rock ledges out and about and some sandbars that offer so much different habitat to fish. Or if you prefer the glamour side of LA, we have, like I said earlier, movie premieres, there's restaurant openings, there's always something going on in that lifestyle almost every single week. And I can go on for hours about the things that we can do here in LA that just aren't available in some other cities. So what are some of the challenges living here in LA? So we touched on earlier, the cost of living here is unavoidable and is a lot higher than some of the other places around the nation. So that's going to be a huge challenge for a lot of people. But like I said, to combat that, we also have some of the most industry here in LA. California as a whole has like the 4th or 5th largest economy in the world. And being one of the major cities here in California, we contribute a lot to that. So there's a lot of opportunity out here to combat the high cost of living. Now, another major criticism of LA would be the traffic. Again, traffic can be crazy. To travel 5 miles during peak rush hour time can take you like 30 minutes. It can get really, really wild. And we don't have the best public transit system, so there's no subways like New York or anything that are really, really beneficial to people in public transit. The best thing I've heard of is the metro line maybe, but even that can get a little confusing. And LA is such a sprawling city that it really, really requires you to have a car. So that can be another financial challenge. Now I need to move here and also now I need to get a car to get around. So that's going to be a big challenge, is our traffic and then our lack of public transportation. Now another major challenge that we're experiencing a lot and a lot of other places are experiencing is our homeless population. We have a pretty wide homeless population, but ours feels more noticeable, especially day to day. That is a major issue. There are some great programs that the city of LA and some nonprofit groups are trying to run to help these people, but it is still a major issue and something that's unavoidable here in LA. Now, another concern living here in LA is overall environmental health. So we do have a smog issue. You can see it if you're looking into LA. You can see smog. The only time it's really ever clear is when it rains. And really what's happening is the rain's pulling the smog down, washing it into our rivers and streams and ocean eventually. So we do have a pollution issue. There is always some kind of trash on the street or something, and those all eventually flow down into our rivers and then to our oceans, and then eventually probably make its way up or down the coast, depending, probably even off towards Hawaii, where between Hawaii and California there is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So pollution is a major issue. So another issue in LA is going to be the fires. We have a fire season where we usually expect to see 1 or 2, 3 fires a year. Now these fires can cause a lot of damage, create a lot of pollution. We do have some really great men and women in firefighting and forest conservation, and these guys are working tirelessly during the fire season to make sure that those risks are minimalized. But we have seen some crazy fires come through and destroy millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of infrastructure, worth of homes, worth of people's belongings, and it can be a really, really tragic event and can actually cause you more of an issue if you're looking to buy a home in one of those areas. Now some insurance companies don't want to give out insurance policies to homeowners who own in those areas, or will charge them exorbitant rates to insure that property because of the risks there. So that's something to keep in mind if you're looking to live in some of those areas, like anything with a canyon or that backs up into a high fire zone. Getting insurance on that property is going to be more of a challenge. If you're thinking about moving to LA in 2025, those are some things to keep in mind. Some of the good, the bad, and the things that aren't really talked about a lot when people are thinking about moving. So guys, if you are thinking about moving to LA, whether it's the amount of industry we have, whether it's the things that you can do out here, whether it's the amazing, beautiful weather, or the amount of culture we have here in LA. If you guys think that outweighs some of the cons and you're thinking about moving to LA, I'm a realtor myself, guys. If you need help, be sure to reach out directly. All my information is in the description below. If you guys want to check out some of our other neighborhoods, there's a video about Torrance and San Pedro over here that I think might be helpful for you guys. And if you guys want a customized tour or some great places to go check out while you're visiting LA, be sure to reach out and I'd be happy to share some of my favorite spots here in LA. Okay guys, Colton Lindbergh with eXp Realty. Hope you have a good rest of your day.